nice. Take a look at this.
For anyone who has ever held a piece of history in their hands, the weight of an old rifle is more than steel and wood. It's a story, sometimes a painful one, sometimes heroic, often complex, but always alive. Collecting rifles is not simply an expensive hobby for firearm enthusiasts. It is the preservation of mechanical design, military evolution, and the legacy of entire nations. Long before modern polymer frames and modular platforms became the norm, these older rifles laid the foundations of what we know today. Their machining was done in eras when craftsmen worked with their hands, when factories echoed with the metallic ring of forged steel, and when nations relied on these rifles as lifelines of their survival. Among the rifles that collectors chase, a few stand out repeatedly. They appear at estate sales, auctions, military surplus stores, and sometimes buried deep in forgotten trunks in attics. Each carries distinct characteristics, unique manufacturing traditions, and stories of battles that shaped continents. The Springfield Model 1903, for example, is one of those rifles whose story intertwines with the early phases of American modernization. Designed with inspiration from the Mauser system, the Springfield 03 has a reputation for almost exaggerated accuracy. When handled, it feels like a rifle crafted with patience rather than speed. Machining lines crisp, stocks walnut dark, actions smooth from decades of oiling. During both World Wars, the Springfield earned a reputation for being dependable in harsh conditions, while also serving as a favorite among early American marksmen. Today, collectors search relentlessly for variants like the 1903A1 or the sniper-designated 1903A4, knowing that these rifles symbolize the transition from rugged 19th-century battle rifles into the precision age of the 20th century. On the other side of the Atlantic, the British Empire relied on the Lee Enfield series, specifically the SMLE, and later the No. 4 variants. While collectors often debate which Enfield is the best, the truth is that each carries its own legacy. The defining feature of the Lee Enfield is its bolt, the fastest military bolt action ever fielded. The short bolt throw allowed British soldiers to fire rapid volleys, a technique famously demonstrated during training exercises, where riflemen could unleash an almost semi-automatic-like rate of fire. In the hands of disciplined troops, this rifle could hold the line against overwhelming numbers. Collectors today often seek rifles with regiment markings, unusual manufacturer stamps, or original wartime furniture. A No. 4 MK1T sniper variant, fitted with a period-correct scope, can fetch high prices and is treasured for its role in both World War II and later conflicts. Every scratch on an Enfield stock seems like it hides a chapter of the soldier who carried it. Then there is the Mosin-Nagant, a rifle that for decades was dismissed as the cheap surplus gun. For a long time, crates of Mosins sat in warehouses around the world, selling for tiny amounts because they were plentiful. But as geopolitical tensions shifted and as surplus supplies dried up, collectors started realizing something. Many Mosins had survived brutal winters, scorched earth retreats, and the harshest battles of the Eastern Front. Some rifles bear arsenal refurbish marks. Others still display the century-old stamps of Tsarist Russia. The most sought after are the PU sniper variants, made famous by snipers of the Second World War. When a collector finds a Mosin with a hex receiver, matching numbers, and an unforced history, they found something that only increases in value with time. These rifles are time capsules of a defeated empire, a revolution, and a relentless war machine that relied on rugged simplicity. Few rifles, however, command respect in the collecting world like the German Mauser K98K. The Mauser system influenced nearly every bolt-action rifle afterward. Its controlled round feeding, robust extractor, and overall reliability became the global standard. To handle a K98K is to experience mechanical precision that feels ahead of its era. Collectors seek markings that survived the war: small eagles, factory codes, proof stamps. Many rifles were captured, scrubbed, reissued, or rebuilt, making an all-matching K98 one of the most prized finds. A laminated stock, original sling, and untouched finish send collectors into bidding frenzies. Beyond its engineering, the K98K represents a turbulent part of history. A rifle held by soldiers in countless battles, from Eastern Front winters to North African deserts. Its legacy is as much political as it is mechanical. As warfare evolved and semi-automatic rifles replaced bolt actions, the M1 Garand emerged as an icon of American ingenuity. When General George Patton famously called it the greatest battle implement ever devised, he wasn't exaggerating. Compared to the bolt rifles of the time, the Garand offered a faster rate of fire, superior ergonomics, and an unmistakable ping when the en-bloc clip ejected. In the hands of American soldiers storming beaches, holding positions, or pushing through frozen valleys, the Garand became a symbol of perseverance and overwhelming firepower. Collectors treasure early World War II production models, rifles with original barrels, and those carrying the marks of specific armories. The Civilian Marksmanship Program has released many Garands into public hands, but as supply tightens, their value increases dramatically. Owning an M1 Garand is like owning a piece of American spirit. Strong, reliable, and uncompromising. Parallel to military rifles, the world of sporting rifles produced its own masterpiece, the Winchester Model 70, often referred to as the rifleman's rifle. Before 1964, Winchester crafted the Model 70 with exceptional attention to detail, using controlled round feed actions beloved by hunters, marksmen, and collectors. The pre-64 Model 70 represents the height of American craftsmanship, with rifles chambered in calibers from .30-006 to .37.5H and H Magnum. As the Cold War intensified, new rifle designs reflected evolving military philosophy. The FNFAL became known as the right arm of the free world, adopted by over 90 countries. Its sleek profile, 7.62 by 51 chambering, and adjustable gas system made it one of the most advanced battle rifles of its time. Collectors today look for pre-ban FALs, especially those made on original Belgian FN receivers, which possess unmatched quality. Different nations produce their own versions, each with unique features. Canadian C1 models, British L1A1 pattern. Rifles, Austrian St. G58s, and South African variants. Owning an FAL feels like holding a piece of Cold War tension, where global alliances were defined partly by the rifles nations carried. From Belgian craftsmanship to German engineering, the HK-G3 and its precursor, the CETME, introduced a revolutionary roller-delayed blowback system. This design eliminated the need for a traditional gas system and became a hallmark of Heckler and Koch's identity. The rifles are distinctive, solid, industrial, and reliable in nearly any condition. Collectors hunt for early set-me models, original G3s with matching parts, or rare configurations produced for specific militaries. The G3 platform would go on to influence many other firearms, and it remains a testament to Germany's engineering renaissance after the war. A shift toward futuristic design arrived with the Steyr AUG, an iconic bullpup rifle that looked like it belonged in a science fiction film when it was introduced. With its polymer frame, integrated optics, quick-change barrel system, and compact layout, the AUG challenged traditional rifle design. Military forces across the world adopted it, appreciating its modern ergonomics and adaptability. Collectors especially desire early pre-ban AUG-1 models, featuring the signature scope ring optic and translucent magazines. For many, the AUG represents the moment when rifles stepped boldly into the future and embraced new materials and philosophies. But perhaps no rifle has influenced modern firearms culture more deeply than the original Colt AR-15 SP1. Long before the AR platform became the most common rifle in America, the SP1 introduced civilians to lightweight aluminum receivers, modular components, and an entirely different shooting experience. Collectors value early SP1s not just for nostalgia, but because they mark the birth of a platform that would eventually dominate sporting, competition, and defensive markets. The slender handguards, triangular front sight, and original furniture make the rifle visually distinct from modern AR variants. Pre-ban Colts, especially low serial number SP1s, are among the most sought-after collector rifles in the civilian market. Few rifles offer that kind of human connection. Beyond specific models, the culture around collecting itself is expanding. Younger collectors are entering the space with fresh perspectives and greater interest in the technical and mechanical aspects of rifles. They see these firearms not just as relics, but as analog masterpieces in a digital world. They admire the machining, the steel quality, the hand-fitting, and the craftsmanship that took place without CNC machines or computer modeling. Sometimes a rifle is simply too rare or too pristine. Other times, the goal is not shooting but studying, admiring, preserving. And for many, the ultimate reward is knowing that they are safeguarding artifacts that existed long before they were born and will hopefully remain long after they're gone. In the end, the rifles collectors hold on to are more than investments. They are the culmination of human ingenuity and struggle, symbols of courage and tragedy, and reminders of how far technology has come. Each rifle, whether battered and scarred or polished and pristine, represents a moment in history and an evolution in design. For those who understand this world, collecting isn't about quantity, it's about connection. The rifles chosen, preserved, cherished, and admired form a personal museum, each piece telling its own story, each one holding a place in a timeline far bigger than any individual. And as time marches on, these rifles continue to bridge the past with the present, ensuring that the legacy of those who built and carried them is never forgotten.